So it's that time of year again. The Game Awards are happening, and if you're a fighting game player, I think like we're naturally a little bit older and a little bit like cool on award show culture and all that other stuff. We kind of know the bullshit that comes around with it. Also, I guess like in our scene culture, like patting yourself on the back or like jerking yourself, it's like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. But this award show has been going on and been trying to find an identity, I think, for years. There's been Game Award shows for like decades, but this is the one that kind of finds itself pretty much since Geoff Keighley took it over in 2014, 15 or something like that. This is almost like the de facto like trade show event for a lot of games where there's tons of new like trailers. I don't have to tell you all about this. Like this is the event that everybody has their eyes on. So every year when they have the voting and stuff like that, right? It's taken them a while to, I think, tune it to where we kind of know what we're expecting in terms of categories and selection. But fighting games is one that is an interesting one every year because they have kind of been all over the place with it through the years. It's gotten better, but I thought it'd be fun to take a look back. I wanted to remind everybody about how much this category has changed on this event. The first best fighting game category I want to point out to you is Killer Instinct Season 2 nomination, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Damn, I never would have thought I'd say this back then, but I kind of missed that game actually. Ultra Street Fighter 4, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Okay, understandable, right? Because that one came out before the Wii U version, if I remember correctly. Smash Brothers is in this category 2 fucking times. And this isn't even Smash Ultimate yet either. This is Smash competing. What is like Obama putting the medal on Obama? So part of this event is, I believe it's decided by panels, but then the popular vote, this has kind of been like a topic of debate, I think, over the years, is how valuable is the fan vote. I don't know the data on it. Maximilian probably knows, or somebody hit somebody like, ask him how much. Ask Max if he knows. Majority decided by judge vote is what they're saying. Maybe, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, the 2015 iteration of the show, best fighting game. And I want you guys, as we go through this, take note. Just take note and see if you could find any any interesting coincidences or recurring themes. Let's say that. So I'm looking at the nominees for, this is 2015. Rising Thunder, Rise of Incarnates. I don't even remember what that was, but that's also another note. People, mainstream industry-wide, I don't think they always know what a fighting game is. They don't actually know what people mean by that. And it gets me thinking about, like, back in the day, I worked at a GameStop, like, one holiday season, and I remember having a conversation with somebody like, oh, yeah, you like fighting games? He's like, yeah, man, I love UFC Fight Night. I was like, oh, that's not really what I meant, but I guess I can see how you think that. I feel like that moment is superimposed over reality for this sometimes. Rise of Incarnates, I can't even tell you what this game is, was, or looks like. Produced by Michael Murray and Murano? I don't even remember what this was. Did anybody play this? Guilty Gear Xrd Sign? Mortal Kombat X wins this year, but Guilty Gear Xrd Sign, in my opinion, should have absolutely won this award this year. That's fucking crazy. But you know what? Mortal Kombat X, we can understand that. We can understand that taking the dub in this situation. Fair enough. Best fighting game for this year. This is 2016. Pokken Tournament. Understandable. Not bad. Killer Instinct Season 3. This is actually another trend that you're going to see developing, where it's like, because this is during the time where fighting games started to transition into, instead of re-release it packages, you know, for example, like Street Fighter 2, the Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, or Super Street Fighter 2, where you have to buy the game again. It's a re-released, new packaged version. This is where you started to see like the season pass and the games as a service type models start to develop a little bit. Killer Instinct Season 2 was nominated the year before. Is it just a season update? Is that not going to qualify you as a new release? Why do we have like seasonal, you know what I'm saying? Like why are season passes competing with new releases now? That's like something you should have in the back of your mind. KOF 14, Street Fighter 5. So Street Fighter 5 wins this year. Ironically, the game that is probably vanilla Street Fighter 5 was kind of rough. I don't know if you guys remember that. Now, the interesting thing is this. From the perspective of 2025, in retrospect, do you agree or disagree with this dub? Not that it matters, right, of course, because, you know, out of the games that are in this collection here, Capcom is obviously the bigger company. They're obviously going to get the bigger, you know, the bigger nod. You're going to give it to KOF 14? KOF 14 looking the way it does? I don't think so. Over Street Fighter 5? Vanilla SF5? Pokken got robbed? To be honest with you, I can see the motion for Pokken. I can see that. I wouldn't even be tied to Pokemon. I think if you look at the category, there's not a ton of releases every year, too. So some of this is probably just them padding out the nominations, I would say. Like, this is what it feels like, you know? Like, if it's a lot more interesting if you have 4 or 5 games to compare versus, like, 2 or 3 in some years. Tekken 7, Nidhogg 2. Nidhogg 2 in this category? God bless Nidhogg. It was pretty fun to watch that one stream. MVCI ARMS. The winner is Injustice 2 this year. First of all, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator didn't even get no nod. BBCF comes out this time, does it not? BBCF was 2016, no nomination, nothing. Nothing. Like, damn. Tekken 7 taking the L to Injustice 2? I disagree, but I can see the thread there. I could see it. I disagree, humbly disagree with this one, but at least Injustice is competing against 2 other fighting games. I don't know if I put ARMS and Nidhogg in the same category like that, but again, this is one of those years where I don't think mainstream industry is so far removed. We're so into this shit, you don't realize, like, most of the industry does not fuck with these games the way we do, or even, like, know what they are now, right? So this feels like padding a little bit. 2018. Best fighting game, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Again, you have an title update that's now competing with new modern releases. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle over BBCF, over Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2. Insanity. Soul Calibur 6 deserved, but DBFZ winning this year, you can't be mad at that. I don't think that's not a bad call. That's the thing you can say about this. At least this year, it's competing against 3 other legit fighting games. This is like a legit fighting game category for that year. All right, best fighting game in 2018. Sam Show, a real fighting game, an actual release. Mortal Kombat 11, a real fighting game, an actual release. Jump Force. DOA 6, a real fighting game, an actual release. Smash Bros. Ultimate comes back 3 years later after a year where it was competing with itself to take the dub, and that's well deserved. Like, you can't be mad at this. Like, that game kind of raw. Under Night In-Birth with the nomination. Okay, they paying attention. Street Fighter V, god damn, they are doing tricks on this game. How many nominations? Bro, this game already won one. It already won one, getting nominated for just updates at this point. One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, not a real fighting game. That's an arena fighter. I get how you would think that they're saying they're not really, but you want to include them in this category, I guess that's okay. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, that game got super hoed by the pandemic. MK11 winning this, I understand it. I just think the game's ass. And I don't think that what's the statute of limitations? Can we have like real talk real quick? Can we have real talk? Is it real talk time? As soon as MK11 was dropped from the main lineups from some of these, like, is a breath of dog. The 4-hour top 8s, that's another topic. But at least this year, 4 out of 5 are fighting games. And personally, I think Under Night got robbed here. But we'll let that slide. MK11 gets the dub. Fair, it makes sense. At least as a category this year, it mostly 80% functioned. 2021, first year of the pandemic. This is where game development cycles start to slow down a little bit. VF5 Ultimate Showdown. This is when VF5 comes back with the re-release. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Remember that. Type Lumina. Demon Slayer. Not a real fighting game. But at least you got 1, 2, 3, I guess like 3.5 if we call it an All-Star Brawl. But even this game, you know, and this is another idea here is, this game is actually 20 years old. This is a re-released new version. So similar to how like SF5 was getting cheating the system, SF5 update year, Championship Edition, Arcade Edition. That's not that different than what VF5 is doing here, you know? Is that okay? Is that the same? I don't know. So Strive wins this year, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. I think it robbed Lumina. Definitely not deserving in any way, shape, or form. Don't even want to talk about it, give it more screen time. What came out in 2022? Jeff, this is not a fucking fighting game, man. God damn, bro, do you play game at all? This is not that. KOF 15, JoJo's All-Star Battle R, DNF Duel. Damn, this was a rough-ass year. This is the multiversus year. So, out of this category this year, you have, like, I would say 2.5, 3, I give, like, JoJo's half, I give multiverse. You can count JoJo's, that's fine. So there's, like, 3.5 real fighting games here. This game that won the award, this game was like an alpha or pre-beta when it was nominated and won. And then, the irony was, the next year, you couldn't even fucking play it. How is that better than an actual new game that came out in a new full release? That doesn't even make sense. That's, like, what are we doing here? KOF 15 dunks on this category this year. That's not even close. This is 2022 was a rough year. 2023, Pocket Bravery. I guess that counts. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Wow. MK1, God of Rock? What is this? Maybe 3 real like fighting games. Never even heard of this. It's not a fighting game. SF6 wins. That's deserved. That's a legit win. I don't think anybody could be mad about this one. This one makes sense. So last year, I don't even remember what was up last year. Multiversus. That's crazy. That's crazy. Uni 2 snubbed for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm sure there's a lot of fellas playing that game right now. Completely uncontroversial, by the way. Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising. That's an update on Grand Blue. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classic. This is a thread now that starts where it's almost like the evolution of what you had before. New, fully fledged, new release titles that are competing with collections of games from like 20, 30 years ago. I'm not sure they should be competing with each other like that. Why is MVC 2 competing with Tekken 8? That doesn't make any sense. But Tekken 8 wins this year, and I think this one is deserved. No Uni 2 is a little bit weird there, to be honest with you. It definitely should have been over, especially in retrospect, especially over a couple of these titles. But how often are we seeing, like, collections or... not just fighting games either, by the way. I mean, just in general. Collections or alphas, betas, new versions of something, remasters, that kind of thing. Think about something like Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Collection. That game comes out this year, but it's really... like a 30-year-old game. It's really like 20-something years old. Should that be competing with like a new actual release title? I kind of don't think it should be. And when you think about how common a lot of these kinds of releases and collections have become in the past, say trending in the past like 7-8 years especially, I feel like that should almost be its own category or own thing to focus on. You could develop that too even, you know? Best collection or best re-release or best collection. I feel like this could even push that type of game forward more. You have these games that are re-released, they're competing with each other. Now we have to look at the category and be like, well, shit, which one had actually the best upgrades and quality of life additions or new content or content refinement, or what did they add? What did they change for these games? Which ones weren't just like copy paste from the Fightcade ROM? Which one wasn't just like a run of the mill, we're gonna sell you the ROM kind of shit like that, you know? I think once you get to starting having that conversation, all of a sudden you put these collections under a microscope and it's like, oh, we might actually have to put effort in the re-releases. We might not just be able to put a stamp on this game and just ship it out and just rely on the goodwill that we've had from fans over 20-something years and sell them the same thing again. Which brings us to 2025. Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. I think it's really whack that you have a game that is not even released yet. It's an alpha, pre-beta. Well, I don't even know anymore. Literally only available on not even Steam, on PC, on Vanguard, going up against literally 30-year-old games. A shitty re-release of 30-year-old games, mind you, followed by a decent release of 20-something-year-old games. Going up against a 20-year-old game, that's just good. To me, there's only like 2 of these, at least 3 of these, to be honest with you, should not be here. This is why it's hard for me to fuck with that. To me, there's only one game that should win this. To be honest with you, I don't need. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. This is the only new release that came out this year that was an actual new game. It's like the objectively correct answer to me. I don't know. Worst part is it won't. Oh, we all know that. We know that. I think I would feel better about 2XKO even being in this category once it's actually out. It's not that you need a console version to qualify or something like that, but it feels weird when you're putting up... It's like multiversus shit. It feels weird for unreleased games to be competing with new, actually released, tangible product. Now, if they were to... Here's the thing. If they were to make a best early access or best pre-release, I think that could be cool, and I think it should win that. I think it's definitely got enough features there to win that. Best esports athlete... fuck, man. It's got to go to the Bull or Kakeru. I like giving it to Kakeru just because, like, he had the condition that forced him retirement out of him. This would be a cool little, like, like leaving the rose on the grave kind of thing. In my opinion, Mena should win this. I think Mena should get it. But I also think Mena, he'll be back. Mena is not done. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mena should win this. I give it the Kakeru for the consolation. Hopefully everybody else hooks up. Mena should get hooked up though.